Hi everyone, it's Tash and welcome to another jiggly recipe video. And today we're going to be making Sakura Panna Cotta bunnies using white rabbit candies. Timestamps are down below if you want to skip the initial blah blah, but stick around if you want to hear a little bit about what we're making first. This is an adaptation of my own recipe that I made a couple of years ago. I made white rabbit candy milk puddings for the Year of the Rabbit for Chinese New Year a couple of years ago. And this time we're going to be adding Sakura puree, just to add some lovely floral, slightly pickled flavours in from the pickled cherry blossoms. And it goes really well with this creamy dessert. This is going to be really quick and easy except for letting it set overnight, but that bit is really hands-off fuss free anyway. So with all that said, let's go to the kitchen and see how it's done. The first thing we need to do is bloom our gelatin, which is basically a fancy word for soak. So here I have 4 grams of dried, this is beef gelatin, but any gelatin will do for baking, about a teaspoonful, 4 grams. We're going to evenly sprinkle it over 2 tablespoonfuls of cold water. And I'm just going to set this aside for a couple of minutes so it lets it soak in. And while that does its thing, we're going to head on over to the stove. Do you call it a hob or a stove? Anyway, same difference. I'm going to add in 150 millilitres of whole milk into our saucepan, 150 millilitres of double cream. I'm going to add in 10 grams of caster sugar. That's not much, but we are going to add in our candies later. And 20 grams of Sakura puree. I'm going to give this a little whisk together just to combine everything. And now I'm going to pop the heat on to medium, about a medium heat. And I'm going to add in 100 grams of these white rabbit candies, and I haven't bothered to take off these little papery outer layers. This is just rice paper, it dissolves, so you don't need to worry about that. And we're going to slowly dissolve this in our Sakura milk mixture. So just keep stirring until they're all fully dissolved. Now we don't want it to boil because that would make the next bit of adding the gelatin a bit more inconvenient, because we don't want it too hot that we denature our gelatin proteins. But of course we want it hot enough that it will dissolve and that our candies will dissolve too. So keep stirring on a low to medium heat. As you can see, we're nearly there, just got a few bits in there. Now as soon as we're 100% sure that there are no more candy bits in there, we're going to turn the heat off. And we're going to add our soaked gelatin. Oh, that is so satisfying when it comes out in one big gelatinous disc. And we're just going to stir it until it's all dissolved off the heat, because we're just using that residual heat that's already in the pan. And once you're sure that that is completely dissolved, we can take these over here, rather in my case, to our moulds. Now as I remember it, this makes 6 little bunnies with my mould and 1 normal sized pudding mould. Doesn't matter what types of moulds you use, but obviously bunnies are more fun. As I suspected, now I'm going to let these cool down completely. Shift these a little bit because this one's a bit wonky. There we go. Didn't want that spilling out. I'm just going to clean these up a little bit while I'm at it. And I'm going to let these cool down completely, and then I'm going to freeze them overnight. I'm not going to jiggle them about, I'm just going to let them be. So let them cool down completely to room temperature, and then stick them in the freezer overnight. This one actually I'm not going to, I'm just going to refrigerate this overnight because it's a hard mould and it's easy to get out. But if you're using a soft silicone mould like these bunny ones, then I just poked it right in there. Then do freeze it because otherwise it's going to be difficult to get out of the mould. Once our bunnies are frozen solid, we are going to unmould them. I've got some handy little dessert cards here, but you can just use small plates. And this should be relatively easy. Just put one on there. Push the ears out. And there we go, 1 bunny. And now we're just going to leave this in the fridge just for an hour or 2 to defrost. And for this extra one, it's just one of those handy moulds that opens at the top, which breaks the seal, kind of like one of those Japanese puddings. Just like that. Give it a few shakes. And it comes right out. Well, these are absolutely gorgeous and adorable, and I don't think I need to tell you what comes next. Here comes the jiggly slow-mo. I am super happy with that. It's just extremely jiggly. A tiny bit less so than the plain milk pudding ones, because that cherry blossom puree that we added, because it's salty and a bit acidic, it helps to curdle the milk solids a little bit in the cream and the milk, so it sets a little bit more solidly. Kind of in the same way when you make a lemon posset, you add lemon juice to the cream and that sets it up and curdles it. Same sort of concept, adding acid to milk. But I didn't do it too much, as you can see. Plenty of movement. It's got a lovely floral fragrance, and because we freeze it first before defrosting it, we've got really good definition from the mould. I'm going to set this one down, and I'm going to pick up the one I've already dug into. Here we are, looking a little worse for wear. You can see it's super glossy on the inside. And I'm going to take a little more from the bum area. Cheers! That's wonderful. I love that floral flavour of Sakura. Always goes well with creamy pudding type recipes. And those white rabbit candies make it extra milky and luxuriously creamy. So there you go, Sakura Panna Cotta rabbits. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's recipe video, and I hope you'll join me next Wednesday for my next one. Get the full written recipe on my blog tashcakes.com, follow me on Instagram, I'm tashcakes.tastes, and find me on TikTok too, I'm tashcakes there too, but my handle is food in slow motion. Subscribe and hit the notification bell if you'd like to see more, give this video a like if you liked it to help other people find it, comment down below if you'd like me to make anything in particular, and I'll see you all next time. Be good, be nice, and have a good week. Bunnies, ooh, that's kind of scary.